Hey guys, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Streets of Rage 2 on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PlayStation 3. Also available on the Xbox 360, and of course Streets of Rage 2 is available on the Sega Genesis. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to change the full screen so you get that whole YouTube widescreen effect. That'll blow your mind. Not really, but I'm trying to sell a video here, so whatever. I do not like the smoothing though in this game, so I will accept just the widescreen. I think the smoothing kinda ruins the way the game looks. You'd think it'd be more sharper if they blew it up, like maybe sharpen the edges or something, but whatever. This was the first real beat 'em up type of game I played on the Sega Genesis. I was a huge fan of Double Dragon and like the River City Rampage brawlers and Mighty Final Fight in the arcade, because I didn't have a Super Nintendo at the time, and like on the other system. So this is the first time I played a brawler in the Sega Genesis. I never played Streets of Rage 2 before I played Streets of Rage 1, so I was pleasantly surprised, and I still think Streets of Rage 2 is probably the best Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis, followed by Streets of Rage 3, and then Streets of Rage 1 being the weakest one. I'll just play on normal. I'm probably going to get my butt kicked. I haven't played this in a long time. So this guy isn't in Streets of Rage 3 R1, I don't think you ever see him again. I know you see these two guys, and maybe this guy was in the first one. I think he's in the second one too. I don't know. I have these keys. Isn't that terrible? So I'm gonna close my eyes just for random sake and push X to pick somebody, and I don't know who I'm picking. Oh, I picked the shittiest wrestler guy. Fuck. I think the music in this game is really good. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. I also like how, like in Final Fight, everybody has a name, even though it's really not really that important. I always like that feature in beat 'em ups. There was a version of Streets of Rage 2 on like some Sega Dreamcast collection, and the emulation was really bad and slow. But this collection, and there's also a PlayStation 2 collection. I can't remember if the Streets of Rage games were on it. I don't think they were, which was really weird. I at least know Streets of Rage 3 wasn't. And then for a while they were trying to sell the Streets of Rage games by themselves. One thing I don't like is he kinda can't move when he's punching. I don't know if that was like that in the other ones. I haven't played this particular one, and I never play as this guy, so I really can't comment. But I don't feel like his reaction time is as fast as I'd like. Has those old arcade sound effects for picking up stuff. Nintendo was always about censorship, but I mean, you could beat women with whips and knives and stuff in the Double Dragon games. Sega Genesis, however, or Mega Drive, depending on where you're from, this was all at-home stuff. Violence and anything controversial in Sega Genesis game was almost comforting. Super Nintendo 9 times out of 10 had better graphics. Sometimes the Sega Genesis had, since it had like a somewhat faster processor, it could do like cool effects. Like if you ever saw my video of Dynamite Heady, they did like cool things with the hardware, but it wasn't really good at things like scaling. There's a few games that actually have scaling. Like recently they released some homebrew version of Wolfenstein 3D. I think it's scaling. And there's this level in Toy Story 2. Ironically, it wasn't in the Toy Story on the Super Nintendo. When I said Toy Story 2, I don't mean like the sequel Toy Story. I mean like T-O-O, as in as well. But there is this level on the Sega Genesis version where you had to go into the vending machine and find the aliens. I don't think that level was in the Super Nintendo version. I could be wrong, but it's really surprising it was in the Sega Genesis version because that seemed to have scaling. And there's also this really shitty version of Duke Nukem 3D on the Sega Genesis. Just look it up on YouTube. Don't even bother playing it. It's pretty awful. Come on. I don't mean to stab air here. I mean to stab you. My spandex pants are way too bright. They need to be stained with blood. Remember at the time my uncle was dating a new girl. And she, I guess she wanted to be accepted. I don't know. She came upstairs to my room. I know, isn't that like a bad start for a story? You think it's going to go somewhere terrible considering it's my channel? But I just remember I was playing this game and she was pretending to be interested in my video games. I guess maybe thinking that if she gained my approval, maybe my uncle would like her more or something. I don't know. This was out when video games were still considered like a kid's toy. For the most part, at least Sega Genesis. If you had a computer, you could always have the excuse, well, I do word processing on the side for business. But I was still a kid back then, so must have been like 9, maybe 10, more or less 9. I think I was 9 years old when I first got the Sega Genesis. And this was one of the first games I rented. I think I rented it more than once. There's always some S&M girls on these things. Come on. Drop the whip so I can play Indiana Jones for a few seconds. Or Castlevania, the beat 'em up. The music in this game is really incredible for the Sega Genesis because I hate like a lot of the Sega Genesis game soundtracks because I think there's like even sorry, TV just flashed there for a second. It does it every once in a while. There's not enough power in the house and sometimes the TV will flash for a second. It's an old house. We don't even have 3-pronged plugs in here. We gotta get adapters. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of messages telling me how bad that is for your systems and stuff. I'm fully aware. But I don't have much choice. It's either that or not play games at all. Oh, there's always a karate guy. I don't even think his belt's black. It looks like a brown belt. And I'm supposed to save the city and I'm getting my ass kicked by a brown belt. But anyway, back to the music conversation. I'm really impressed by like the music because the Sega Genesis, a lot of the, especially the games made by Sega, are American companies that made games for 16-bit systems. For the most part, were pretty shitty at developing for the system. Don't ask me why. For the most part. Come on. I was hoping that I'd survive, but I haven't played this game in a long time, and I'm terrible at it. Isn't that a waste? But a lot of the games on the Sega Genesis use some standard sound chip that must have been built in and didn't utilize it, where like all the sound effects and a lot of the games sounded extremely similar and the music sounded really grainy and crappy. This actually sounds really good. I said this in another video, I think when I was playing the Castle Illusion, that Konami was really good at taking advantage of not only the graphics of the Sega Genesis but the sounds. I I'll go as far as to say that Konami was better at developing for the Sega Genesis than freaking Sega. Sunsoft wasn't always good at developing graphics, but they pumped the sound out really well. They were also really good with soundtracks for the Game Boy and the original Nintendo. Super Nintendo soundtracks were just good based on whoever wrote the music, because I think the sound chip was always utilized on the Super Nintendo. But like a lot of the explosions on the Super Nintendo sounded similar. The Super Nintendo had a pretty good sound chip, so you were never really like blown away like if a soundtrack was good on the Super Nintendo. It was just, I mean, technical wise, but I mean, what made Super Nintendo soundtracks good is like whoever actually wrote the music, not like the technical part of it. Like, this is not only good video game music, it's also impressive from a technical standpoint for the Sega Genesis. I hate this guy. All the guys I randomly picked. Let me get that apple. This reminds me of those motorcycle guys on Batman Returns. I believe this game came out first, so you can't say that they're copying. If it didn't, they're copying. But I think that's standard. This guy is so fucking slow. These guys have potato mashers. I just have a lead pipe. And they got cool Mad Max outfits. And they're kicking my ass. If you're gonna let me know I suck in the comment section, FYI, I'm fully aware. I haven't played this game in quite some time. And I'm just one of those people I have to play a game for a while to get used to it. Plus, I'm trying to think of interesting things to say, and I think I've failed so far. Not that I'm trying to persuade you of not watching my videos. I mean, you should stand by my channel through thick and thin. Another karate guy. This guy has one of those terrible, what appears to be, I don't even know what the hell you call that haircut. It's a very 90s, whatever the hell it is. He shaved the side of his head and kept a ponytail. There's like this stupid show with this guy with a mullet called Renegade. I don't know, like, I've completely forgot about it until now, but that's what that guy reminds me of. Don't ask me what the hell it was about, because I don't know. It was like on par with Chuck Norris as Texas Ranger, so you know it reeked of quality. And if you can't tell that I'm being sarcastic, I'll point it out for you. I was being sarcastic. It was an awful show. I think it came on after the Highlander TV series with Duncan MacLeod. A lot of people really like that show. The only thing I remember about it is that it played the Queen song, Princes of the Universe, before it came on. I think they actually had the license for Queen too. I don't think that it was like some re-sing version. It was on for a while. A lot of TV shows based on movies end up being complete failures. Like there was a short-lived Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure TV series. I only think it had a few episodes. And then they had A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Nightmares, or Nightmares on Elm Street, whatever it was called. Which wasn't that great of a show. There were some interesting episodes here and there, and it's not considered canon. But I wish they'd release the whole series on DVD. I'd get it just for collector's reasons, and I haven't seen every single episode. I just remember it coming on when I was a kid. I'd like to see it. Fucking jetpack, man. This kind of reminds me of Turtles 4 when you're fighting, I can't think of his name. I'm thinking of Baxter, but the dude that's like a fly. I hate these games where you gotta figure out where. I don't hate this game. I think it's a really good game. But I hate when you fight flying guys and you have to line up with their fucking shadow in order to hit them. And since I'm colorblind, it's very hard for me to see. Especially since the bottom of this is busy. I'm guessing that's supposed to emulate the road being wet, but it almost looks like metal grating to me. Come on, you piece of shit. Freaking... You should be making contact. And now he's gonna disappear, waste my time. This is sad. I used to be able to beat all these guys in like fucking no time, but I'm so rusty. Oh, kill me again, whatever. Damn it. There we go. I promise I don't suck this bad if I'm used to playing this. But that's easier said than done. But I'm going to stop here so this video doesn't drag too much. So, this was Streets of Rage 2 on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the PlayStation 3. Also available on Xbox 360. And if you're like somebody who has to play it on the Sega Genesis on the real thing, it's also available on that system. And there's probably available on other platforms, like in some collections, emulated or whatever. I really can't tell you which one's better beyond this one and the actual Sega Genesis version. But anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can click the thumbs up button and leave a comment, positive or negative. And if you're new to this channel and like what you see, there's a subscription button that you can press, and there's plenty of other videos that are super awkward like this. And you didn't like what you see, you should still keep with the channel and check out some other videos. Maybe you'll like some of the other ones. I'm desperate here, guys. For what? I don't know, because like I said in other videos, I don't make any money off of this. This is just a hobby. I just do it for fun, but it's cool when people appreciate something that you make and comment on it, and you make something that other people like that you enjoy doing too. Blah blah blah. Now I'm sounding all like enthusiastic and shit, and I'm beating people up at the same time, so it kind of kills the mood of all that. There's a bare knuckle. That's what this game was originally going to be called. But anyway guys, I am rambling. Go figure. On my channel, right, those arcade cabinets look terrible on the left side. They didn't really think of adding any detail. Maybe that was a memory constraint, I don't know. But yeah guys, again, I wasn't going to end this video and I'm still talking. Thank you so much for watching, and for all you guys that have left comments and clicked the like button or just watched my videos, thank you so much for the support, and hopefully I'll continue to create content that you guys want to watch and I enjoy making. Alright guys, thanks a lot and take care. Bye.